and issues like we do every day, okay? So now let's get started. Now, most people do believe in angels, and many have had personal experiences with them like I have, which is one of the reasons I get so excited about reading for them. But other people are not quite so sure. So the first question we have is, well, who are the angels? What do they do? How can they help us? Well, they can help us in any way. And let's just say the angels are God's helpers, assistants, and guardians who work on the physical plane. Now, some people think there are only a few angels on the earth, and sometimes they think, well, they're probably too busy with everybody else to pay attention to me, and that is just absolutely not true. The truth is there are legions, billions of angels on the earth, in and around the earth. The angels we're most familiar with are spiritual energy beings who live and exist in the spiritual realm and have access to the physical realms, the earth planes as well. But there are many, many, many more who don't. There are many types of angels. For instance, you know, if you've done any kind of religious study, you've heard people talk about, the teachers talk about the seraphim, the cherubim, the thrones, the dominions, the virtues, the powers, and the principalities. Now, those are 5 of the 7 types, or I'm sorry, 7 of the 9 types of angels, and they only exist and work in the spiritual realms. They don't come down and work on the planet or any of the physical planets in the universe. Then there are the ones we're more familiar with, who are the archangels and the angels, the guardian angels, helper angels, whatever. And these angels have been assigned to certain responsibilities and duties for ensuring that things around and on the earth proceed according to the divine plan. As I mentioned, the first 7 categories of angels, before I mentioned them only because many of us have heard of them through our various religious studies and information, but we're not really that familiar with them because they don't connect with us directly. So for the purposes of this presentation, we're only going to deal with the archangels and the angels because that's who we connect with, and that's who really has the most influence on our lives. Now, I mentioned that there are, legions, tons of angels in and around the planet, and that they have access to us at any point in time. They're the ones who help us. They're here to watch over us and all life on earth. They aren't here just for human beings. They're here for every life form, every part of Mother Earth herself. They have duties and responsibilities, kind of like we do on a job, because actually looking after the earth and her life forms is their job. And there are billions, literally billions of them around the earth. So you don't have to worry about them being too busy, or that they are not paying attention to you, or that they can't come and help you with the smallest task, the smallest request, because they're here. There's so many of them here that they can do anything, okay? And you should require or ask them to do whatever you need, because that's why they're here. So why not ask for their help? There are more than enough to go around, I assure you. And because they work on different levels that we don't understand, they can be everywhere present. They are multitaskers, the premier multitaskers, so don't hesitate to call on them for anything, even something as small as finding your keys. And sometimes you guys will come on and ask me, do you know where my keys are? Well, the angels have a much bigger view of the planet, and they can help you too, so don't hesitate to ask them. In fact, Archangel Zadkiel, which I've talked about, I think I spoke about him in presentation number 2. His name is spelled Z like zebra, A-D like dog, Zadkiel. He's a locator, so you can ask him to help you when you lose your keys, or anything else for that matter. Now, some of the angels are assigned to watch over the earth, and some care for the animals, the oceans and waterways, the land, the forest, the environment, and of course, us. Some quietly work in the background, working and assisting the archangels and other guardian angels to do their work. They do many things for us, and a lot of it we don't even know about. But best of all, they assist us with our daily lives too, because stepping in to help whenever we ask is what they do. I just want to repeat that so that you guys will know they're here to help us. So please don't hesitate to call on them. Now, we all hear angels. Many people have said to me, I don't hear them. I don't hear their messages. Well, I don't always hear them either, but the messages come through, and I've been able to learn how to listen and how to pay attention to the signs. And we all hear the voice of heaven, which is basically our inner voice, God speaking to us through our intuition, our bodies, and many, many other ways. And I really believe this with all my heart. Their voices come through our hearts. They come through our intuition, which you all know what that is. It's either the little small voice that you hear in your head, or it's a gut feeling. They come through our thoughts, which is the little, ideas and impulses and urges we get. We can hear them sometime. You may hear something whisper, very softly in your ear, or even you may see something that may be inspirational or give you that sudden attention, pay attention to this feeling. Their messages influence us way more than we know, and it's very easy to call on them. Even a simple cry for help, such as, if anyone can hear me, please help. Or just help me, if that's all you got time to say. They understand. They recognize you. They know who you are. They know what you mean, because they're not only reading our words, they're reading our emotions and our thoughts. They're not limited to verbal communication. They hear it all. They know it all. They are ever present. So the thing is this, though. Whenever you ask for something, ask for their help, or pray a prayer, whether it's to the angels or directly to God, you must understand one thing. There is a heavenly mandate of non-interference. This means that while they can step in an emergency, like to save your life or to prevent something from happening, they can do all kinds of other things on behalf of the greater good of everyone, the planet, for instance. The one thing they can't do is violate our free will choices. And that doesn't mean that we get to ask for everything and they have to give it to us because that's our will, our choice. No, what it means is they can't interfere if we decide to do something or not do something. They can't force us, okay? I know some of us wish that they would, but they can't. The heavenly mandate simply means that, I've given the human beings a divine blessing of free will choice. And right or wrong, it's their choice. And they have the right of execution. And nothing in the universe or on the planet will interfere with it. Not even God will violate your free will choice, which is why we get in trouble so much. But if you ask for help, they can respond with guidance, and they can open the door to opportunities. Like you're looking for a job, you ask for help, they'll open the door, send you opportunities, give you guidance, tell you what to do, but they can't force you to accept their guidance or act on the opportunity. We get to choose to reject their guidance and do something else, or to ignore it altogether, whatever it is we choose, which is, like I said, why we get in trouble so much. And we say we don't hear the angels. Most of the time we hear the guidance, but it doesn't fit our idea of what we want, or maybe it's different than we expect. So we tend to ignore it, blow it off, overthink it, question it, whatever it is, we don't follow through. This is also why we think sometimes that our prayers are not answered, or that the angels are not helping us. You see, we can pray for certain outcomes, but there are guidelines that they have to follow. In addition to the free will choices, they have to do what's best for us. They only see and act in the place of truth, purity, and authenticity. So if what we're asking for violates something, or maybe is not the best thing for us, they won't answer that prayer either, because they can't violate working only on our behalf and only for good. And as humans, we make mistakes, we misinterpret, we don't understand, so we'll often ask for or do things that are not in our best interest, and the angels can't do that because it violates who they are. And they are truth beings, and when they see something like that, they have to ignore it. They pray for us and ask for us to become enlightened and to see the truth, but most often we don't. We're human beings. I mean, what can you say? We are who we are. And another thing that they can't do is sometimes our prayers, we'll pray for something like we're in love with someone who's married to someone else, and we pray that relationship will break up so we can have this partner. Well, they can't do that either. Our prayers and what we ask for cannot interfere with someone else's need or desire. It can't take away something from someone else or bring harm to another. And the outcome can only come together when the things are right. So this is another situation where we also have to be willing to accept divine timing. And I've talked in my readings often, you'll hear me talk about the universal laws, which the law of attraction is one of them, and the law of divine timing is another, which says, have patience. You see, every prayer is always answered, and sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes it's not right now, and at other times the universe will say, no, that's not for you, because I actually have something better in mind. And very often, that's a hard one for us to accept too, because we don't see down the road. We only see right now, and like a kid, we get mad, pout, throw a tantrum, whatever, but we feel like, you're not answering my prayers. Oh yes, they are, but it's again according to our highest and best good and what's right for everyone. Now, when we talk about the angels, we usually are talking about our archangels. We're most familiar with the archangels like Michael and Gabriel and Raphael, and some of the others that I talk about in my readings like Uriel and Zadkiel and Haniel and whatever. If you've done any readings with me, you know that I talk about all of them. But we also know there are other angels, and the most common ones are the guardian angels, because we've all been told we have them, and we do. In fact, they're the ones that are assigned to us at birth to watch over us, to help us with prayers, to, do the little things we ask for. And everybody has at least one and two, maybe, and many people have several. There's no set number. It depends on your life challenge, the issues you're facing, and, what's best for you. Most of them don't have names, although we are, because of our humanness, we want everything to have a name, something we can call it. Some of them do have names, or if they have names that we can understand, they'll let us know. But then there are others who have names that may be very foreign. In fact, in the Bible it talks about the true name of God is one that we can't pronounce because our language and our physical abilities don't make those sounds. Well, many of the angels have those same kinds of names. They're not pronounceable for us, or maybe they're so complicated that we wouldn't be comfortable pronouncing them. So they don't really need a name, and you don't really need to worry about a name. All you need to know is that they are there. It's not important that they have names. It's just important that we call on them, which is one of the reasons why a simple prayer like "help me" is all it takes. They will read your need, your emotions, and be right on it. So all you need to do is trust and allow them to help you. All you have to do is think about them, and they're there in an instant. They know who you are, and they will respond in an instant, okay? Now, if you want to know your guardian's name, your guardian angel's name, because some of them do have names, like one of my guardian angels' name is Nanza. I think it's spelled Nanza. He didn't tell me. It's just that during a meditation, after I had asked for the name of my guardian angels, during a meditation, during the quiet part, when I'm sitting there just, letting my mind be open, I hear this man say Nanza, and it was like, what? It was such an unusual thing. I knew it was a name, and the voice was so different. He said it one time, I've never heard it since, and I've been curious about the name. I've never found it anywhere. But I knew that that's who it was. And so it's like, okay, Nanza, well, great. I'm glad you're there. But I've not heard any other guardian angel names, but I know that there are others there because I can feel them. So don't be disappointed if you ask and they don't say anything, because it doesn't mean that they're not there. It's just that either you're not open to hear it, or maybe it's a name that you won't won't be able to respond to or relate to, because if their name is too foreign, you may not want to connect with them because it's unfamiliar. So don't worry about it. And sometimes the other ways that they will answer and show you their names is by giving you a name over and over, like you might hear Crystal, or you might hear Sandra, or maybe you'll hear even, the name Isaiah. One of the guardian angels is in the deck, the messages that I use, at the angel deck that I use, one of them is Isaiah. So you may suddenly start seeing this name over and over and over, a while after you've asked for names. Maybe you'll see several names, and maybe you'll hear the names in a song, or maybe you'll see the names on a billboard or in print somewhere. These are the ways that they communicate with you. They will get the message through however they can to you, and they will keep doing it and keep trying until you finally get it. You may even hear it in a dream. You may wake up and suddenly all you hear about this dream is this name and this warm, loving presence. Or maybe in, the course of the day when your mind is kind of quiet, you may hear a name spoken in by a friendly voice. Or like I said, you may not hear anything at all. Don't worry about it. They're there. And they know that we in our humanness need all this familiar stuff, signposts and points of reference, but it's not really important. So who are the guardian angels? What do they do? Well, first, they're androgynous. Many times when I say androgynous, I mean they're neither male nor female. Many times I've had people ask me, well, are my guardian angels male or female? Truth is, in their spiritual nature, they're neither, or both, if you can say, but they're neither male nor female. Now, depending on you and what your comfort zone is, if they appear to you or you hear a voice, they will come to you with a male or female appearance or a male or female voice, because it's all about making you comfortable and receptive to their presence. The guardian angels offer unconditional love without judgment. So that's another reason why you can call on them no matter what you're doing or have done. There's no need to be afraid or embarrassed. They don't judge. They don't have that energy of judgment. Again, that's a human thing, okay? So be comfortable with whatever and wherever you are, whatever you're doing, to ask for their help. And know that they see and observe you all the time. Not like, voyeurs or peepers. No, but they're just ever present. And it's because they need to be on call. They speak to you through your intuition, your feelings, and various signs and your emotions, okay? You may hear or feel their guidance as a warm, fuzzy feeling of encouragement or comfort. Or you may hear, and when you hear something like that or feel, that warm, fuzzy feeling or words of comfort, that's the sign they're saying, go ahead, you're on the right track, go for it, let's do it, But then, on the other hand, if you said a prayer or ask for guidance and you get this discomfort, or something is making you hesitate, or you're questioning, I don't know about this picture, something's wrong with this picture. These are red flags. Anxiety is a real strong one. That usually is a real strong indication something's wrong. You're going in the wrong direction, you're about to make the wrong decision, or you're making a bad choice, okay? So these are some of the ways they give you these subtle messages of, hey, pay attention, maybe you should do something different or take a different path. Now, in the case of real danger where your life may be threatened or something, really bad's about to happen, you may get this strong feeling of dread or of something holding you back or something saying no or stop or go this way. But again, if you exercise your free will choice and do it anyway, then they can't prevent you having the experience that they tried to tell you about, I mean, there are times when you're traveling, maybe even driving, and when you go into that state of I call it the zone, where maybe you're driving and you've dropped into, it's really a state of self-hypnosis where you're not conscious of where you're going, but you've driven this road, a gazillion times. Maybe it's the path you go to and from work, and you do it without thinking. One day you're taking this drive and you're doing it without thinking, and suddenly you come to yourself and you are making a right turn, or you're deciding to make a left turn, or maybe you decide to stop out of the blue and you don't know why. Well, sometimes this is a way that they can protect you by helping you avoid an encounter further down the road that may be trouble. So follow those little urges. If you're driving your normal route and something says, hey, take a route, a right and go this way instead, you may never know what you just avoided, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. That's called your divine intervention and protection on your behalf. So just go with it. Allow it to be there for you, because that's what it's for. They protect you in many, many ways, and this is one of them. Here are some of the ways that they communicate with us: by popping thoughts into your head, by answering questions in your mind. You may ask a question and you may not speak it out loud, but suddenly you get this feeling of, oh, that's what that means. Those aha moments. That's basically what we call an aha or light bulb moment. It's angel inspiration or answers to questions. They also use things like synchronicity, where things come together magically or miraculously, and it feels like ooh, what a coincidence, what an incredible thing coming together for me. Yeah, those are signals, signs that they're working on your behalf. They often will send symbolic messages too in dreams while you sleep, or even if in daydreams. Sometimes when you're sitting daydreaming and suddenly you have this flash of inspiration. Another thing that happens sometimes are feathers will show up. Now, I've had a lot of people ask me about black feathers showing up as a sign of bad luck, but I don't really subscribe to the bad luck theory, because that infers that things in life, everything is good or bad, and that's not true. There are experiences that are unpleasant or very pleasant, or expected or unexpected, but usually when something unexpected, or what we define as bad, happens, it's because there's something else coming, and this was the only way the universe had to clear the way for this new thing to happen. Sometimes it's our spiritual growth by going through something really painful, very devastating. Sometimes, it could be any number of things, but just know that everything happens for a reason. Now, feathers showing up could be white feathers, just a bird feather floating down. Sometimes, especially one that floats down out of nowhere, those are more the signs of like angel wings, okay? You get a little feather, you're walking, you're not under a tree, and suddenly out of nowhere, this white feather floats down in front of you. Angel presence. Or sometimes you'll feel a touch, feel like hands are being placed on you. Maybe you have a sensation of movement or tickling on your skin, even though nobody's there. It could be that gentle angel touch. Another way is very pleasant smells, a certain perfume, a fragrance from somewhere that you can't identify. Or an intense smell of flowers, especially roses. That's one of their favorites. So if you suddenly are somewhere and you got the strong smell of roses that just seems to blow past you, could be angels saying, just here, put my arm around you, saying I love you, just saying all is well. You also can get feelings of sudden peacefulness and brightness, and maybe a sense of being enfolded or caressed by something gentle, warm, and loving. You may hear sounds like beautiful music, and maybe it's coming just in your head, and it makes you feel good, warm, and fuzzy. Angels will often communicate with us on musical frequencies. Another way that they communicate with us, and we don't really connect it, is you will hear sounds in your ears, sometimes like a ringing. And usually it's not just a constant ringing, which can be a sign of tinnitus, an ear condition, but theirs is like, how the old computer modems used to sound like a download, where the tone goes up and down and in and around, and changes its sound. That's kind of like the way they download stuff, because they're on a higher vibrational frequency, and sound vibrates at certain frequencies too. Low-level sounds like bass and the lower sounds have a lower vibrational frequency. In other words, the sound wave is long and slow, but higher tones have higher frequency, and the sound we hear it as high-pitched frequencies. Well, they're in such a high frequency range that their voices, their sounds, can often sound like computer modems or some high-pitched ringing in your ear, but it usually doesn't last. And if it is there, and sometimes it can come in very loud, you can simply say, tone it down please, you're hurting my ear. You say it inside, to yourself or out loud, and they will, Or if it's really, really soft and you can't hear it, just get quieter and pay more attention, and you could say, can you crank up the volume a little bit? Now, you may not be able to interpret what the sound is saying, but that's okay. Your brain gets it because it operates on a different level. And if they can't get through to you in any of these other ways, they will give you information through other people, maybe through me. Maybe you'll see a sign, maybe you'll hear a song on the radio, maybe something will pop up on TV, or you'll overhear a conversation. Sometimes you can be passing, or someone will pass you and you'll overhear a segment of a conversation, and immediately, wow, that's exactly what I wanted to know, or ooh, I need to do this. Maybe you've been asking, where should I go to get this, that, and the other? And suddenly you hear somebody walk past you and they say, they're having a sale on such and such over at such and such a store. And you go, that's exactly what I needed to know. Because, that happens to me a lot. And so you just have to learn to pay attention for where the information's coming from, and then listen when you hear it. So what do they look like? Well, I mentioned that they're neither male nor female. They're spiritual beings, and unlike us who have physical bodies, they don't always come in physical bodies. Now, there have been stories, and I've seen and had encounters with angels who were in physical bodies at the time that they came to help me. And that's the story of another time. I won't tell that story here. I've had a couple of them. But they do come to you. Now, sometimes people will say, well, I've never seen an angel. Maybe you had an earth angel that showed up in an emergency to help you out. You thought it was a person because it looked like one, but not necessarily. There's stories of people who've been in very dangerous situations where someone suddenly lifted them up and they saw a person. Maybe they only saw part of the person, or maybe they only saw the person for a moment, and when they turned around, the person had, vanished into thin air. So yeah, they do show up. It depends on, what's going on, whether or not you notice them. But they could be symbolic images too. And the one thing about them is, because they are spiritual and not physical, and because our eyes and our perceptions vary greatly, they may appear different to different people. Sometimes they show up as bright, shiny beings that are glowing and that, appear to float. Other times they may have wings and they seem to glide effortlessly and have just a sense of love and peace and comfort in their presence. Others may see different or feel different sensations, like, smelling flowers, feeling the soft touch. Some can hear, and some see. Guardian angel images often look different to us simply because they when they come into a physical presence and they try to present themselves to us for whatever reason, they have to bring their energy vibrations down to a point where they can materialize on the physical plane that we live on. And so it may not always look like something we expect. It'll look a little fuzzy. Maybe they don't look quite solid, whatever. Just know that it's them. And as long as you're not feeling any threat or having any foul smells or any sense of cold or anything like that, you know that it's your angels and they're there to help. They can also, as I mentioned, be like bright light, orbs of light, or beings of light. Maybe sometimes the light has like filigrees of lights, shining out, kind of like sparkling, shimmering, yes, but also like rays of light beaming out from them. And sometimes these rays of light may appear around the shoulders and the head, so it looks like wings. Other times it can be just around the head and it looks like what we call a halo. So, whatever the case, though, you just know from the sense of comfort that they bring and the ease that accompanies their presence that they're there to help. They're not there to hurt. And so you need to be open and be prepared to allow them in. Now, I want to take a minute to talk about archangels. Now, I'm not going to talk about all of them because I've done that in other presentations. So in this one, I'm going to talk about one of the other archangels, probably someone that you guys are not familiar with because we don't hear their names as often, but I do mention them sometimes in my readings. Now, the vast majority of the angels have never had physical lives. And I'm talking, and this is really in the case of archangels. But two of the archangels were mortal men before they became archangels. And one of them his name is Metatron, and you've probably heard about him. You hear about him because he's like the universal wizard, the angel that was given secrets of the universe for creativity and transformation of energy. And the other one is known as Sandalphon. Okay, now Metatron was in his physical life known as the prophet Enoch, and I know you've heard of him if you studied the Bible at all. Enoch, he was that's who he was in his physical life. When he was blessed with the ascension without dying, he became the angel Metatron. The other was the prophet Elijah, and when he ascended without dying, he became the archangel known as Sandalphon. Now, these two archangels, because they're so different, you notice their names don't end with the letters EL, like Michael or Gabriel or Uriel or any of the angels that we're familiar with. And it's believed that the reason why their names are different is because they were not physical angels first. They were human beings and then became archangels, which was a little different than the normal way, I guess, that they were created. Now, don't ask me any questions about how that happened or why. I was not privileged to that information. I only know and the fact that this is how they became who they are. And they still have all the powers of archangels, but they are some of the youngest because they came about at a later time. And who knows back in antiquity how the others were created. Like I said, way before our time, and it really doesn't matter at this point. But the archangel I'm going to talk about today is Sandalphon. He's the only one I haven't spoken about previously. His name means brother in Greek, and that's possibly in reference to the fact that he and Metatron are known as twin angels because they were created about the same time. They ascended somewhere around the same time, and both were created or became angels as a result of their transition. They're the only angels that we know of that were once mortal men, and they ascended into the angelic realm without experiencing death or transition as a divine blessing from God. God gave both men their immortal assignments as archangels to reward them for the great works that they had done on earth, and in this way they were allowed to continue to do their sacred service from heaven. Okay. Now, you've probably noticed that their names are different, as I mentioned, because normally the words El means of God in Hebrew. But even though they are of God, they were not given that same El designation. But that's okay. They still are who they are. All right. Now, as the story goes, Elijah's ascension occurred when he was lifted up to heaven in a fiery chariot pulled by 2 horses of fire, accompanied by a whirlwind. Now, the events documented in the 2nd chapter of the book of 2nd Kings. So, if you want to read about it, go pull out the Bible and check it out. Sandalphon's chief role is to carry human prayers to God so that they can be answered. He's said to be so tall in his appearance when you do see him. He's one of the ones that can still come back and be physical. But they said he's so tall that he extends from earth to heaven. And ancient Kabbalistic lore says that Sandalphon can also help parents determine the gender of an unborn child. And many also believe that he's involved with people who create music. So musicians often call on him for help. Now, Archangel Sandalphon's message and musics come as soft whispers like on the wings of angels, that gentle voice that you may hear. Or sometimes the voice is so gentle it may breeze by you if you're not paying attention, because it can be like whisper soft. So when you invoke Sandalphon, stay aware of any words or music you hear in your mind or around you, as he's most likely going to answer your questions and your prayers in that way. Now, he can help you with things like music too, and delivering prayers and hearing and understanding the answers. And this is the reason I thought it would be helpful to talk about him, because many of you have asked me about hearing and understanding angel guidance and the answers to your prayers. So if you are having a hard time understanding what your answers are, ask Archangel Sandalphon for help. You can say out loud or to yourself, "Beloved Archangel Sandalphon, deliverer and answerer of all prayers, I ask for your assistance now. Please deliver my prayer for whatever your prayer request is to God as soon as possible. I ask that you relay the answer in a clear message to me that I will easily understand. Please update to me whatever the progress of my request is, and let me know if there's anything that I need to do." And then you say thank you and amen. Now, you don't have to use those exact words, but that gives you the gist of what you can do to ask for clarity. You know, I always talk about clarity and awareness. Well, you can ask him for that. And that's the reason I mention him, because so many of you have trouble getting your answers and understanding what they are. I thought he would be useful in you getting that clarity. So now let's talk a little bit more about angels and numbers and what their messages are. Now, I know many of you have seen it, and you've asked me about it, and I've seen it too. And I'm talking about number sequences where they keep showing up for you. You look at a clock and it says 4:44, and you go somewhere else and there's 4:44 and 4:44, or 333 or 111. Maybe a car pulls up in front of you and there's another sequence. Maybe you've been seeing sevens. Maybe you've been seeing 222. Whatever it is, it keeps happening over and over for a period of time. Well, there's reasons for that. You know, numbers have meanings. Numbers have energy. Numbers relate to creation and to us in very special ways. They have power. And repetitive number sequences often represent messages from your angels and from heaven. So here's the scoop for a few numbers you may see. When I say the scoop, I'm just giving you some basic definitions. And when you hear me do readings, very often I'll make reference to a tarot card or even an angel tarot card that's got a number. So let's start with number 1. Number 1 generally is the representation of the idea of keeping your thoughts positive. Singular intention, focus, and staying positive. Your thoughts are powerful, so be kind to yourself and think positively about your ideas and about yourself. Number 2 represents the idea of keeping the faith, staying in balance, keeping that focus, but faithful that it will continue in the direction that's best for you. Remember that in the Bible it talks about when two or more are gathered in His name, that God is more powerfully present. The number 3 represents the ascended guides and masters like Jesus and Mother Mary and Moses, what have you, and they represent the Holy Trinity. And know that the ascended masters are near you and are helping to bless you when you see the 3. It represents the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Okay, and different depending on your religious belief, it can be translated in different ways. Some people even say heaven, earth, and man. So anyway. If you kind of look at it, you can see there's some logic to the number sequences and what they mean. And and as I'm telling you some of this, you may have this resonance in your heart of feeling like you already knew that. But now that you're becoming aware of it, you can apply and use this concept to improve your life and to, kind of bring a holy moment to you here and there as you're going through your day. Now, the number 4. This is a number that to me represents stability and balance and groundedness and firm foundations. It represents the angels and acts as a reminder that they're always there with you. When you see 444, you can know that the Creator is letting you know that the angels are around, that you are spiritually supported, that you are grounded, or maybe that you need to get grounded. It can be a very comforting and joyful experience to have this number show up. And it's something that you can always be grateful, because it's a reminder that, you're grounded or that you need to get grounded. And if you can do that, it will greatly improve the outcome or your experience. The number 5 represents the idea that things are about to change for the better. Or it could be that you need to encourage you to go ahead with the change and full speed ahead. Maybe something that you are working on, a goal or an opportunity that you just need to go for it. It can also mean stop. Pay attention, see things differently, change your belief, your point of view, or something that you're doing, change your direction or behavior, because maybe you've been heading in a wrong direction and suddenly you reach a fork in the road, and now you need to be flexible, adaptable, willing to make an adjustment in your course. So when that number comes up, think about, what does it mean? What am I doing? Am I getting these warnings that maybe things are not quite right? In other words, if you're experiencing resistance or lack and limitation and 5 starts showing up, it may say you need to do something different. What you're doing is not working. It's the wrong direction, so be willing to change. Number 6 is a call to balance. Now, it could mean bring balance into your life, into your day. It could even mean balance your checkbook. If you're having some financial problems, maybe you need to sit down and balance that checkbook. Look at that bank account. Get control of your bills by seeing what's going in, what's coming out. By taking this time to bring balance, it allows things to flow better, and situations will settle down. Chaos can tend to resolve itself. So, it can also mean balance your life with play and work. If you work hard, play hard. Rest. When you're over anxious, if you keep pushing, you get exhausted, you can't think. So it could mean just bring balance into your life by doing the opposite of what you've been doing. If you're depressed and stuck and not doing anything, get busy. Get out, do something, take action. Okay? Number 7 is kind of a pat on the back. It's an accolade. It says, keep up the good work. Use your wisdom and intelligence. Think about what you're doing. Know that you have enough of what you are working with to take action. But it says, consider it and then keep up the good work, because, things are looking pretty good as long as you use your wisdom to guide you. The number 8 is a number of abundance, things coming together and working out, and good fortune. It's the infinity symbol, which means flow and continuation, something that's constantly moving. It also means you may need to make plans and set priorities so you can take action and be in the flow. So sometimes when the number 8 shows up, it's like to get out of this chaos and to get things going, organize, set priorities, and get things moving again so that the continuity can continue. The number 9 represents the idea of it's time to get to work because something's coming to an end and transition is happening. More precisely, though, it means, get to work creating, helping others, helping yourself, focusing on things that are more about what's happening in the life around you, not so much on your own issues, but it could, but it's about things coming to a change or to an end, and something's about to change. It can also mean that you should let something go. And so if you're struggling with something and you're in resistance and you're seeing number 9s, it means let go and move on because it's come to an end and nothing you can do will revive it. And then finally we get to the number 0, and I saved the 0 for last instead of first because 0 means it's the sign of the endless circle, the omega, the no beginning, no ending. It's the sign of God. And what it means is God's trying to get your attention with a word of assurance or divine guidance. And basically it's pay attention because this is the whole of it coming, full circle back to the beginning. Now let's talk about some number repetitions, as I mentioned earlier, and just quickly go through them. If you're seeing 3 1s, this is generally the sign that there's an urgent message that your thoughts and your energy is manifesting. In other words, you're in a powerfully creative mode, so be careful to keep your energy positive and focus on what you want and not on what you don't want. Give any fearful thoughts to heaven or to the angels so they can transform that energy. 222s, trust that everything is working out exactly as it's supposed to, and divine blessings for everyone involved. Let go and have faith. The number 3, you're completely surrounded, protected, and loved and guided by benevolent ascended guides. 444s, there are angels all around you. They're everywhere around you, and you have nothing to fear. Number 5, 555s, huge changes are rumbling throughout your life, and to keep positive and stay focused on the outcome of what you want and not what you don't want. It also says be flexible and adaptable, but stay centered in prayer and use your ask for help to help you get things going. 666s, this is really about balance. Raise your thoughts and spirituality to a place of balance to get things back on track. 777s, you're definitely on the right path in every area of your life, but there may be things that are yet to do. So stay balanced, stay spiritually open so that you can move forward. The 888s, very, very auspicious sign of complete financial support from the universe. Money is flowing in your direction, even if you don't have it yet, because maybe there's something you need to do to connect to those resources. The 999s, it's a message signifying the completion of an important cycle or chapter in your life, and now it's time to get work to go through the transition. So don't procrastinate. It's on to the next chapter in your life. This is like a wake-up call too, and when you're seeing 999s, especially more than once, it's a time to inspire you to get working, especially when it comes to working on life purpose and issues and dreams and goals. Okay, so that's all I'm going to talk about the numbers now, because I want to go into the really most important part of it, and this some of the messages that I received for you. Now remember, the numbers have energy and power, so pay attention to them when they show up, because it's just another way the universe and the angels are trying to communicate with you. Now, as I was preparing this talk, I was asking for guidance about what messages they wanted to speak to you through this presentation, and so I got them. In fact, they didn't really come through till last night and this morning, so let's go with the first one. And the first one is for raising your energy and attitude so you can stay focused on what you want instead of what you don't want. This first message says, stay positive about your career and finances and put your entire focus on serving a spiritual purpose through your work. Your connection with the Creator is strong and clear. God asks you to fill your heart and mind with faith and ask heaven and the angels for help in doing so if you need to. Your faith is being rewarded right now, so lean on the angels to help you maintain a positive outlook. This will help you with your own attitude of staying optimistic and bright. Now the next 3 messages are from our guardian angels. Several of them have decided to send you information. I don't know who these are for, but I'm sure it will resonate with someone who needs to hear it. Remember, the angels are here to work with all of us, so it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. It's more like a 1-to-many relationship. Now the first message is from Angels Grace and Antoinette. They decided to speak to you together, and what they're saying is to help heal this situation, see the other person's point of view and view it with compassion. This misunderstanding that occurred happen because of judgments about the other person's motives and character. So use compassion to open the door to resolution. To heal the situation, judgments need to be released. Instead of seeing someone as good or bad, have compassion and know that everyone is doing the best they can with where they are right now. Instead of pitying someone, see that person's inner strength and godliness. In that way, you encourage divine light to be expressed within the other person as well as yourself. You are projecting something from your own shadow side onto the other person. So this situation is also an opportunity for you to clear away an ego issue. Simply affirm that I am willing to release that part of me that's irritated when I think of you. Okay? We angels are helping to heal the situation miraculously so that everyone will forgive and forget judgments and act responsibly. Compassion is the key. The next message is from Angel Crystal, and she says, have faith and hope because there's something positive and new on the horizon and you can't see it yet. The seeds that you have planted are beginning to sprout results. You may not even be aware of them. However, since they're in the infancy stages, be patient. The beginnings will appear. Now it's more important than ever to stay positive and to hold a clear vision of your desire and your intention. Avoid skeptics or those with negative mindsets and attitudes. Take daily action, even if it's only baby steps toward the fruition of your dreams. This is essential. A phone call, a letter, reading relevant material will keep the energy of your manifestations at a high level. Every day, positively affirm that you've already achieved or exceeded your dream or desire. And most importantly, ask for angelic assistance in every step of the way. The third message is from Angel Athena, and she says it's safe for you to be powerful. You know how to be powerful in a loving way that benefits others as well as yourself. You've been afraid of your own personal power. You've worried that others will disapprove of you or even leave you if you allow your true power to shine. You've also been concerned that you might abuse your power and that your masculine energy would become unbalanced. I'm here to help you reveal your power to yourself and others in a way that enhances your relationships, your self-esteem, and life purpose. Your power comes from love, from God. You're made in the image and likeness of your Creator, and you have unlimited power within you right now. You aren't capable of abusing your power because your heart chakra has opened like a flower in bloom. So think of a person whom you admire, who's both powerful and balanced in their masculine and feminine energies. Such power is beautiful, and it amplifies your spiritual healing and psychic gifts. You are strong and powerful light worker, and God needs you to accept and reveal your power now. So we're almost done, but before we close, I want to share one more special angel message with you. Someone out there may need some comfort and some guidance, so this last message is for everyone. It says, be guided by your celestial guardian who is there for you at every moment, who is blessed with divine grace and is supportive of you and whatever you choose to do. Never feel that you're alone. This protective light of angel love is sensitive and nourishing. And remember, there's always hope for a bright new future. The angels will light your way as you face the darkness of your past and assist you in releasing destructive bonds of guilt or shame. With love and forgiveness in your heart, the obsessive patterns of old pain will be replaced with love in your heart. Claim your rightful place in an abundant world filled with love and light, and you will be able to embrace and feel worthy to receive. Be quiet and listen to the whispers, finding the perfect balance and harmony from within. This manifestation of peace is possible. Feel the comfort and everlasting peace that's coming into your heart. As you align yourself with the harmonic frequencies of the universe, you become more receptive to sacred wisdom. Know that positive forces are working in your favor right now, and it is time to recognize your boundless dreams. I hope you've enjoyed connecting with our angels today. That's the end of the messages from them. I know I've enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed preparing it, and I love delivering it. And I hope you've received wisdom, comfort, inspiration from their messages, and that it will serve to help you through your day. So take this energy with you through the rest of the day, into the night, and into the days ahead. I really appreciate the opportunity to be a channel for their energy and messages and of service to you. I thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me. And I'm sending you so much love and light and healing energy, comfort and joy. Thank you so much again. Namaste.